So our next step is going to be putting the print head on the carousel with the pivoting bolts and the safety bolts as well, and then installing the hog rings and springs on so that the head will lift and lower. The tools we will need are a 9/16 crescent wrench and a 9/16 socket and wrench. So our first step, we want to take our bolt and washer, and we want to put that on first, then take our print head and line the holes up with the top holes on the print head of the carousel. So once you have the print head lined up with the top hole here, what you'll do is you'll take the bolt, line it up, and have it go all the way through the back. And then now your print head will be in place to put the lock nut on the back so that it is tightened into place so that it will be able to pivot up and down. So you'll take your second washer and your lock nut. Your washer is going to go on first, flat side down. You want to take your nylon nut and you want to tighten it down. And then take your crescent wrench and your socket wrench, and you're just going to want to tighten it down. Our next step is going to be installing the springs, the hog rings, and the nylon netting that goes over top of the springs and the hog rings. So what you'll need is, you'll need 2 springs, 2 hog rings, and 2 of the nylon netting. So your first step is you want to put the spring through the nylon netting, but you want to leave the bottom portion out of the nylon netting so you can hook it into the print head. So on the carousel, there's going to be a hole right here for the spring to hook into. Your first step is you want to take your spring that you've inserted into the nylon netting, and you're going to want to hook that into this hole. So once it's been hooked into the print head on the carousel, slide the nylon netting down to expose the top portion of the spring. Once you've done that, take your hog ring and hook it into your spring. Take your print head, lift it back, and you're going to want to hook the hog ring into the second hole closest to the center shaft of the print head. And then the hog ring will become exposed on the back side of the print head. Then pull your nylon netting back up to cover the exposed hog ring. Then once that is installed, your print head will actually hold into place right here. Once you've installed your first hog ring and spring, you're going to repeat the same exact steps to the second side of the print head so that there are 2 hog rings and springs installed for the print head to be raised and lowered. So our next step is we're going to take our bolt and our washer and we're going to install it into the carousel's second hole at the bottom underneath the print head. And this is going to be our safety bolt so that our print head cannot go all the way down to the table, or it won't go all the way back and take the springs and the hog rings off of the print head. So you're going to take your bolt and you're going to put your washer on, and you're going to want the flat side of the washer to be pressing against the carousel. So what you're going to do is line it up to this first hole and push your print head down so that you can fit the bolt through. Once the bolt goes through, push it through the other side of the carousel and it'll line up perfectly to that second hole on the bottom. Once that has gone all the way through, you're going to take your second washer and your nut, and again you're going to put flat side against the carousel. Then you're going to take your nut and you're going to tighten it down to press the washer against the carousel. Once you've done that, you're going to take your crescent wrench on one side and your socket wrench on the other, and you're just going to want to tighten that down. Then once it's been tightened down, the print head will stop going down so it does not hit the table, and it will also stop going up so that there is not a chance of the springs and the hog rings to come loose and detach from the head of the printer.